Okay.
Yeah, live.
So, dear devotees, we're discussing the Falgun Krishna Panchami by Srila Prabhupada, written by Srila Prabhupada for his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This was written in 1961, before a few years, what is it, 4 years before, no, 4 years before Srila Prabhupada came to America in 1965. And Prabhupada is describing what was going on in the Gaudiya Math, his spiritual master's institution, what his disciples were doing, and how he's saying that these things that they are doing is actually not his spiritual master's mission and vision to spread Krishna consciousness uh, in every town and village and all over the world. So we're discussing the fifth Vasishta, number 41. So Narayan Prabhu, I'll read it and then, uh, well, I'll read it and how should we do it? Just power through it?
I think power through it, but people should be prepared to want to say, comment, or ask questions as we go. Powering
Okay.
through it simply means I'm going to try to hit the Bhaktisiddhanta level highlights of the realization level. Okay, now can you lower it just a touch?
There you go. Is this better?
Okay, yes. So go ahead.
Okay. Fifth Vasishta, number 41. Because there is only one God, if his wealth increases, a saintly person renounces all such material desires for profit, adoration, and prestige. Huh. Your
Hare,
gold.
Hare
Go
Krishna.
ahead. Yes, Mahaprabhu does.
We have to
Because
renounce all those things. Not
because
easy in
there is
this life.
only
It's
right. Because there is only one God. If his wealth increases, a saintly person renounces all such material desires for profit, adoration, and prestige. This sentence doesn't make sense to me. Because there is
Right.
only one
What?
God.
Okay, I know. Try number 40. Let's
Okay,
see what it says.
your gold, my brother, is the source of sense enjoyment. Prabhupada has made this meaningful statement. Huh.
Okay, all I can consider from this only one God, you know what they say at AA, the 12th step of AA is there is a God and it's not you.
Right.
So I
God.
think that in number 40, could you move it down so we could read number 40? Or is
Okay.
it too hard to do?
No, easy to do.
Okay. Okay, and let me read number 39 also. You will become renouncers, my brothers, so renounce everything. But if you renounce the instruction of the spiritual master, what kind of renunciation is that? One who renounces the bona fide spiritual master, or one who tries to enjoy it at the expense of his spiritual master, are both useless. First comes the servant of your spiritual master. First become the servant of your spiritual master. Then you'll be able to understand these conclusions. So what he is really saying is that one renounces the bona fide spiritual master, or one who tries to enjoy it at the expense of his spiritual master, both are useless. And he says, first become the servant of your spiritual master, then you will be able to understand these conclusions. Now let's move up to the fifth Vaisistya. I think it'll make more sense now.
Okay, can you read it and try to make some sense out of it? No, Prabhu.
Uh,
41.
Can you make it a touch lower?
Okay, touch lower. All right. There you go.
Okay. Because there is only one God, if his wealth increases, a saintly person renounces all such material desires for profit, adoration, and prestige. You see, Prabhupada has sort of snuck up on them with the other two verses before that, saying, you know, are you trying to enjoy the wealth due to your spiritual master? So he then comes down here. Isn't that more or less what he said in 40?
Yeah,
Can you read?
that's what it's.
Can you read 40 out loud?
Yeah, let me read it. One who renounces the bona fide spiritual master or one who tries to enjoy at the expense of his spiritual master are both useless. First become the servant of your spiritual master, then you will be able to understand these conclusions.
So we've seen this in ISKCON, haven't we? That they
Yeah.
are running the temple sort of like a business, and they are profiting. They give out, they give out benefits. They make sure everyone follows the principles, etc. But ultimately, they're running it for themselves. That's the
Yes.
problem. But since they're Kinasatakaris, it's hard to imagine that they would do something else because they don't know the difference. It's pretty hard to back away from being the enjoyer. So then he says, who renounces the bona fide spiritual master, or one who tries to enjoy at the expense of his spiritual master, most useless. So the people in ISKCON are largely enjoying at the expense of their spiritual master.
Right.
Now, renouncing the spiritual master is not that common in ISKCON, but enjoying at the expense of the spiritual master is pretty much universal. First, become the servant of your spiritual master, then you'll be able to understand these conclusions. In other words, if I'm the servant of the spiritual master, then I'm not going to try to either reject the philosophy or enjoy at the expense of the spiritual master. So here comes the fifth Vaisistya, 41. Because there is only one God, if his wealth increases, a saintly person renounces all such material desires for profit, adoration, and prestige. Well, Prabhupada has sort of hinted that those who renounce and those who enjoy are declaring themselves to be God. You see?
Right.
Why do they say only one God? Even Christians believe only one God. Jews, Muslims, one God. But Prabhupada is sort of putting the knife in and twisting it in his God brothers, because he's saying, if you're trying to renounce the philosophy of your spiritual master, the teachings of your spiritual master, or if you're trying to enjoy at the expense of your spiritual master, you are becoming, in your own mind, a God. Why? Because a God decrees truth, God enjoys. So if you're enjoying at the expense of your spiritual master, then you're an enjoyer. And he reminds them, there's only one God. If his wealth increases, meaning instead of enjoying the wealth of the spiritual master, if his wealth increases, a saintly person renounces all such material desires for profit, adoration, and prestige. And that means he utilizes his wealth in the service of Krishna. He does not build up a nest egg and a profitable structure for him to enjoy his own enjoying faculty. Does that make sense?
Yes. Right.
Okay, can we move up to number 42?
Yes.
And have your daughter read it to us if she can. Well, next
When do
year.
you When do you want to read? No? Okay, Papa will read them.
Okay.
Your gold, my brother, is the source of sense enjoyment. Prabhupada has made this meaningful statement.
Why you said your brother?
I didn't say your brother. I said your gold, my brother.
Your brother?
My brother, yes, my brother. Your gold, my brother, is the source of sense enjoyment. Prabhupada has made this meaningful statement.
Your dad is not meaning brother like your brother. He's meaning brother in a term where you like somebody and you'll say, you're my brother, meaning we're in the same belief, when we have the same understanding of things. Generally, when you're in a home, you and your brother will enjoy, will understand the same things in the same way. So you say brother. So if you meet a stranger that agrees with you, you can say my brother because he agrees with you. So that's what we do. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. No, Prabhu.
Oh, I'm talking to your daughter, actually.
Oh.
Okay, does that make sense, Prabhu?
Wendell, does it make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. If it makes sense, then I'm satisfied. And if it makes sense to you, then you're satisfied too. And if you and you're satisfied and I'm satisfied, that means you and I are both satisfied. If we're both satisfied, then we can live peacefully in this world.
So
okay, so give up your riches for preaching. Okay. Give up your gold, my brother, is a source of sense enjoyment. Prabhupada has made this meaningful statement. So instead of enjoying your gold, give up your riches for preaching. Sit down together and make some special consideration. Special consideration means outside of material thinking. Sit down and make some special consideration means don't make a plan how to make gold and spend gold and enjoy gold. Make a special consideration means how to utilize this wealth as Krishna's asset for Krishna's purpose and for Krishna himself.
Right.
And here he says, give up your riches, not for anything that I just said, but for preaching. Sit down together and make some special consideration. The Supreme Lord says himself that everything, oops. Okay. And this is a typo here. The Supreme Lord says himself, everything is mine alone. Not alone, but alone.
Right.
Prabhupada gave this final, you see, so if everything belongs, Prabhupada is finalizing that everything belongs to Krishna, trying to enjoy the wealth or renouncing the philosophy is not part of the game. If you have wealth, Krishna says everything is mine alone. No one owns anything except me. Therefore, how can you try to cling to wealth if you cannot have that wealth, if it's not yours?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Prabhupada gave this final, what? Go ahead.
45, yes. No, go ahead, Narayana Prabhu. 45. Prabhupada gave his final instruction. Take care. Do all this in all respects completely. Wow. Prabhupada gave his final instruction. Take care. Do this in all respects completely.
So Prabhupada is pointing out that if people have sunk down to gathering wealth and enjoying it, that everything is mine all along, everything is mine alone, by Krishna's statement, then do this in all respects completely means do not neglect to assure that everything does belong to Krishna in your pocketbook. If you pull out your wallet and you take out $100 bills, you have to think, whose $100 bill is that? And Prabhupada said, everything is mine alone. And Prabhupada gave this final instruction, take care, do this in all respects completely. So he's chastising them for profiting off of spiritual life. Okay, 46.
46 is, let me go down, go up. Otherwise, all your efforts will simply go to waste. O saintly ones, beware. Afterwards, you will repent.
What?
Yes. So they think they're going to make great spiritual advancement and give a spiritual advancement to others and help others. And then it says, but your efforts will simply go to waste. Oh, saintly ones. Why does he call them saintly ones? Because they have taken Diksha from their spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. By taking initiation, that's exactly right. By taking initiation, they are become saintly. By beware, otherwise, saintly ones beware, meaning don't forget that you're saintly. Do not try to become a sense enjoyer after initiation. Afterwards, you will repent. Because if you do that, you will have to pay a price.
Right.
You have no choice but to pay a price. The price that you pay will be that you have accumulated karma by stealing Krishna's property from Krishna. If I steal from Krishna, it's like a Catholic going into the church and stealing from the collection plate. We have no business stealing from Krishna's property. And our philosophy is different than Catholicism in that we say Krishna says, everything is mine alone. So where's the question of my property?
Right, right.
Okay, keep reading.
47. It is really such a difficult task to come together like this. And why does so much have to be said to you?
Well, that's interesting because
Ah.
Prabhupada undoubtedly wrote this before he went to the meeting with his godbrothers.
Mhm.
So he already knows that so much has to be said to you because he's watching them. When you watch
Right.
somebody, like if you go to a sports game and you see somebody cheating with a tennis racket or cheating with the football or cheating with the billiards, you're watching them.
Mhm.
And then at the end, you say, if you're actually sportsmen, then why does so much have to be said to you? Why do you have to say to the guy who's playing cards, don't cheat? The whole
Right.
point of the card game is you don't cheat.
Right.
Is it really such a difficult task to come together like this? Because they're not coming together like this. They're coming there with flowers and fruits, as mentioned earlier, and they're honoring their spiritual master in a sense because they see their spiritual master now as their touchstone, see their goose that is laying golden eggs for them to enjoy.
Right. Right.
They're seeing that their spiritual master is the source of prosperity for them. And that is definitely the Kanista Edikoi platform once again. And that is said, we can see in ISKCON, they're doing the same thing.
I'm telling myself my.
Yeah.
They are bringing
I mean-
in wealth. They may not be living in palaces in ISKCON, but they have wealth, and they are assuming that Dakshina belongs to them. Well, when
Right,
Prabhupada
right.
received Dakshina, no. What do you think? But Prabhu, when Prabhupada received Dakshina, he made it an ISKCON property, not his own.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was, except for the money that he left to his wife and children, he did not have any proprietary control over any of the money that was in the bank accounts in his name.
Right. Right. Right.
So he says, why does so much have to be said to you? Because you guys are caught with your finger in the cookie jar. With your hand in the cookie jar. You're stealing.
The cookie.
Prabhupada is not he's being polite, but when he says, why does this have to be said to you? Because why are you stealing from Krishna? Why are you stealing on your spiritual master's name? Why are you stealing from Krishna? That's pretty much the essence of it. When you say
Yeah. Yeah.
you're in Krishna's name, in your spiritual master's name, you're stealing and enjoying. Why does this have to be said to you?
Oh, big line.
Next verse.
Next verse is where was it?
Give up.
Oh yeah, give up your stubbornness. Act for the welfare of others. There is no time to waste. All my brothers, come. This is the most auspicious time to unite.
Okay, so when he says act for the welfare of others, then he means whatever money you get, use it for broadcasting the holy name. Wouldn't you say? Broadcast the holy name. Is that right?
It's saying, give up your stubbornness, act for the welfare of others. There is no time to waste. All my brothers, come to this. This is the most auspicious time to unite. Yes, that's what it means. Give up.
Yes. And why does he say this is no time? There is no time to waste, because wasting time means they're spending the money on their own self.
Right.
If they're wasting time, they're wasting time.
I mean, a lot of money was wasted in the cases too, right? With the BBT case and the I mean,
Oh yeah, and the Robin George case,
yeah, a lot of
and the Laguna Beach
No,
heroin dealing case.
uh, uh, a lot of money was wasted, just like this 48 is saying. So, and now
Yeah,
the
but
BBT.
I think it's very key right here that stubbornness in this case means selfishness.
Yeah, I mean, look at the book change issue. You know, Jay Advaita is basically mad handling the whole thing.
Yeah, but I don't know how much money he's making out of it, but
No,
he says,
he's not
act for
making
the
money
welfare.
probably, but he's very stubborn.
You see, Prabhupada is stubborn. Yeah, it's stubborn, but Prabhupada's talking about misspending money right here. He says, give up your stubbornness, meaning really your greed or your avariciousness. Give up your wanting to stubbornly hold on to Krishna's money as your own. Act for the welfare of others. And what does that mean? Make $1, spend $1 for preaching Krishna consciousness. Don't make $1 and accumulate it with other dollars. Does that make sense?
Right, yes, Prabhu, makes sense.
And he says there's no time to waste.
Right, yes.
So, meaning, if you waste time, you're spending Krishna's money on yourself. It's like supposing you're a policeman and you're standing there, or a security guard, say, you're standing there, you're getting paid, but where's the crime? You have to catch the criminal, not just stand there. Of course, in your case, that's your job. But I'm trying to figure out an example that if the policeman just stands there and doesn't catch criminals, then why is he a policeman?
Right.
After all, there's no time to waste. All my brothers come. This is the most auspicious time to unite. And why does it say that? Because it's the only time that he can bring this to their attention. That's why it's auspicious. If he wrote them letters, he could throw it in the trash. But he's there, he's confronting them, saying this is the most auspicious time because it's now. What is the most auspicious time? There's only one auspicious time. If it's to be really auspicious, the only auspicious time is right now.
Yes,
otherwise,
right now.
What auspicious times other than that is there? Can you hit the 6th Vaisistya, please?
Yes.
Or does somebody have something to say?
Suryans Prabhu just joined. Suryans Prabhu. Suryans Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Suryans Prabhu. Chai. We're discussing the Vaisishtas. We're on the 6th Vaisistya, 49. Hare Krishna Prabhu from Suryans Prabhu.
Haribol. So number 49?
Yes. Go ahead, Narayan Prabhu, you can read.
I can? Your daughter should read. She's so vociferous. This would be a good use for
her. If she knows how to read. Not yet.
Yeah. When will it come to pass that in every room a temple will be established in every corner of the world? This is very interesting because in Prabhupada's charter, he made it clear that even if you have only a room, you can incorporate it as an ISKCON center. All right? Oh, you're muted. Huh?
Yes, Narayan Prabhu, yes, he said that. Every town and village.
Okay, well, I'll just keep on going with it then. When will it come to pass that in every room a temple will be established in every corner of the world? So Prabhupada's vision was proliferation on the ground level, not establishing churches and empires and popes on the hierarchical level. We don't want a hierarchy. We want lowerarchy. What is lowerarchy? That when will it come to pass that in every room a temple will be established in every corner of the world. So you may have only one room. Make a temple, worship in it, and if you're in a generous state of mind, ask someone to come in and chant with you. Then feed them some prasadam, even if it's only a dry chapati. Split it in half and give it to half to that other person. And then in every corner of the world. So that was Prabhupada's mission. And frankly, that is also my mission, is I want to the GBC to once again create that every temple should be individually incorporated. Now, if all the temples are incorporated into global ISKCON, then they can be got unincorporated from global ISKCON and reincorporated locally. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes very wonderful sense, because the local people know how to do the things. If they're trained up properly regarding the philosophy and the deity worship,
Yes.
everything will be done nicely according to the time, place, and the standards. Standards will be kept.
Right. So if you have supplies on the internet, a person can say, I want to get my temple, I want to start a temple in my living room. Please send me a temple kit for $500 or something like that. $100, whatever, you have different types. Send me a temple kit and you'll get a little put together yourself altar, cloth to put over the top of it. This is just an idea. A conch and all the articles, some incense, ghee. You get everything you need to ghee wicks, and you get everything you need to make a little temple. Picture of Prabhupada, picture of Lord Chaitanya, a picture of John of Krishna, Radha Krishna, picture of John Jagannath, and you can put it there. Or you can get little deities also. It depends on the kit you order. And that way, anyone can open a temple and make it a success. And what does Prabhupada say? In every corner, that's a high, in every corner of the world. Then Prabhupada said that the high court judge will be a Gaudiya Vaishnava, tilak displayed on his forehead, the glory of all. And Prabhupada talked about that a great deal. Then will the high court judge will be a Gaudiya Vaishnava with tilak? When will the high court judge be wearing tilak? And that's only fair because the high court judge is meant to be administrating on behalf of the supreme being. Right. I mean, have you ever wondered why in America, in the court of law, there's 12 jurors? When judges had 12 disciples? Does it ever strike you as interesting why the judge will sit on a big thing like an altar bench, they call, with a wig to make him look like a saintly person?
Right.
And then, so that is all modeled after Christianity. But Ephraim Margolin, when I was put in a situation where I was attacked by 25 gay people and kicked me with their engineer boots and broke several ribs. And then they called the police and said I had caused a riot, sort of like what they did with the so-called Trump riot at the Capitol Hill on February 6th, that or was it January 6th? But they said I'd done something. And so I went to Ephraim Margolin, who was the head attorney for the Legal Aid Society, and I said, this is not fair, this is not justice. Oh no, he said, the best course you should do, go to court, they will fine you about $50, pay the $50 and go home. And I said, but that is not justice. And he explained to me something very wonderful about law. He said, no, this is law, not justice. Law attempts to emulate justice. Justice is divine, but law is human. Law tries to emulate or imitate divine justice, it's supposedly God's judgment on you. If you're a criminal, you go to court. It's God's judgment on you as best as the court can determine what it is that God wants and doesn't want. And we can see so much false stuff happens in front of judges. And so many criminals get off and so many innocent people are charged, except in the court of Thakur Bhakti Vinod, of course, where the criminals beg to be in his court because they might get a stiffer sentence, but it would be a fair one. Whereas if they go with somebody else, they might get a really horrible sentence and then have to suffer beyond their actual punishment. So a friend Margolin said like that, and I understood at that point that the judge is supposedly a representative of Krishna or God, Jehovah. He's supposedly a representative. So in 50, the high court judge, hypothetically representing God, will be a Gaudiya Vaishnava and he will wear tilak on his forehead, which means then justice will be enhanced, not diminished, by such a Vaishnava tilak wearing high court judge. Does it make sense? Anybody there?
Narayan Prabhu. Yes, it makes sense. So you had that whole experience with the judge, huh? Interesting. I mean with the lawyer. Sorry, with the lawyer.
Yes. Then I understood that, and the lawyer said, I said, well, what about justice? He said, well, we can't talk about justice. We'll talk about the law. The law says, do you have witnesses? I said, no. Is anyone to speak in your behalf? No. And I remember I was lying on the ground being kicked with these guys' engineering boots, breaking ribs. I was looking out the window at the street, and the people were staring at me. What does that guy do? What crime has he committed that they're kicking him like that and restraining him? You know?
Oh wow! They broke your ribs? Oh.
They assumed I was guilty because if I'm not guilty, why are they restraining me and kicking me? A whole bunch of crowd of people.
They kicked you? Wow! How many times they kicked you? Many times?
20, 30 times.
Oh my God!
They broke 6 ribs.
Of your ribs? Wow! No one came to help you?
No. Wow. It was in a locked place, and there was glass doors, and the crowd outside of the street was looking in, and everybody on the inside were kicking me.
Wow!
Bunch of gay people.
A bunch of gay people.
I have to say, what happened was I had gone into the theater to see a film back in the 1980s, 82 or something like that, in San Francisco on Market Street. And I was watching the film, and some guy was smoking pot in front of me.
Right.
And I asked him to put it out, and he refused. I said, people have stopped smoking cigarettes also, and they generally put them out. This guy refused to stop smoking pot. So I grabbed his joint, I think it was a joint or a cigarette, and threw it on the ground and stamped on it. Then I went back and sat down. Well, I didn't realize that he was close friends with the people running the theater. So I sort of disappeared somewhat. They came back in and were looking all over for me, and I changed seats, and they couldn't tell who it was had done that. And so I was sort of keeping my head down, and they were looking with flashlights all over the place to try to find me for having, taken the cigarette or joint or whatever from that guy. Turned out it was a homosexual theater. It was not a homosexual movie, but it was a homosexual theater. And then when the movie was over, I got up and walked out, and 25 people were waiting in the lobby. They recognized me. And then the guy recognized me. Then that's when they beat the crap out of me.
Krishna.
And they had, engineer boots, the ones that have big soles and big heel, not high heels, but strong heels and strap over the instep.
Wow.
They're like motorcyclists wear and whatnot. Well, they had
Uh-huh.
brand new ones on, and they kicked me until my ribs broke.
Wow. And then you had to go in the emergency room, or what happened?
I don't remember, possibly. Yeah, I think I did, and they put some straps on it. Yeah, I don't pay much attention to injuries, but the thing is that they did that, and so when I went to court, I told them what happened. He said, and he had told me I had no proof, so he came up and he asked me to be innocent or guilty to creating a disturbance. I said, I'm not guilty, but I plead guilty. And so he said, okay, you want to be sure you plead guilty? I said, yes. And he said, then your fine is $50. I pulled out $50, gave it to the clerk, and walked out the door, a free man with painful ribs.
Wow.
So that's it. So then the High Court judge will be a Gaudiya Vaishnava and will wear tilak. That is Prabhupada's idea of creating the High Court judge in the mood of Thakur Bhaktivinoda, who undoubtedly also wore tilak when he was sitting on the bench. And people had confidence in his sentencing because they knew he was a pure devotee. He would not make a mistake, and he would not be unfair. He would be kind, compassionate, but give punishment where punishment was due according to the law, the British law.
Right.
And so that was a very satisfying thing for the criminals to know that Thakur. So that Prabhupada wanted to see that happen, that the High Court judge would be godly and fair, not taking bribes, not prejudice, not this, not that, but godly fair, meaning not because a man is black or Chinese or white or anything that he gets a different treatment. Okay, is that it? So the next verse, you want to read it?
No, go ahead, Narayan Prabhu. Please, you read.
Okay. That a Vaishnava winning votes will be president of the land, and everywhere this preaching will be extended. So he was thinking like that. Balavanta tried to do that with something close to zero success, that a Vaishnava winning votes will be president. Yeah, so that you can elect a Vaishnava, which means that you're electing a person to be godly. Now, right now we have President Biden, who claims to be a devout Catholic, but the church is telling him to stop calling himself a devout Catholic because he fully supports abortion, which devout Catholics reject.
Huh. Wow.
When Biden was vice president, they asked him, how can you vote for abortion? How can you represent abortion when you're Catholic? And he said, I'm not representing it as a Catholic. I'm representing it because it's the law of the land. And now he's not even doing that. He claims to be a devout Catholic. It doesn't say it's the law of the land. He is an advocate because if he weren't an advocate, all the Democrats would turn on him and eat him, cook him, roast him, put spices on his dead body and eat it for breakfast in tacos.
Right. Right. Krishna.
Okay, so in lieu of the High Court judge, in lieu of the Vaishnava winning votes and being president of the land, 52, the demons loot and plunder the Lord's wealth, while the hapless populace cries, alas, alas. Well, I hate to say it, but that is the exact outcome of the last election. The demons are looting and plundering like you won't believe. And the population is beginning to cry, alas, alas, not yet realizing that they've been totally screwed. Okay, 53, and we're getting down into American politics 2001. 53, the demons make their plans to cheat the common people, selling whole wheat flour. What? Selling whole wheat flour at 32 rupees amount. In India, you sort of like make a circle on a piece of cloth, and then you take a scoop, and you pour the whole wheat flour onto the round thing until it's high as it can go, and the mound reaches the edge of the circle. And then, if you're a typical, want everyone to come back again and buy from me and not the guy next door, merchant, you take a scoop and you pour a little extra on top just to make it look generous.
Mm-hmm.
So the mound of whole wheat flour, 32 rupees a month. 32 rupees a month is a lot of money.
Right, that's what I was thinking. It's very expensive.
In those days.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if this was 1961. I didn't get to India until 72. And at that time, there was 16 rupees to the dollar. No, 12 rupees to the dollar. And so that's a lot of money. That's over $2 a pound. And considering that you could buy flour in America at that time for about $1.50 a bag of 5 pounds or 3 pounds or whatever it sold us. So the black market money exchange was 17 rupees for the dollar. So naturally, I exchanged everything on the black market. And when I went to India to buy merchandise for the Spiritual Sky store in Beverly Hills on Beverly Drive that we opened up, I had $32,000, maybe $36,000 in my coupon to keep thieves from being able to smell where it was. And I exchanged it all on the black market. So you can imagine from 12 rupees for a dollar to 17 rupees per dollar, multiply that times 36,000, you have a substantial difference considering that a rupee could buy what a dollar will buy in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So it was possible at that time in 75 when I was doing that to make a fortune just buying things in the streets of India and coming back to America and selling them to friends and family. So, I paid for all my trip, but I paid for all the saris and clothes for my wife and my clothes for myself, presents for people I knew, put a little money in the bank, who's joined us. And when I did that, if I invested $4,000 or $5,000 in India, I came back and when I sold everything, I still had $4,000 or $5,000. So I had more money to go to India. So it was very nice days in those days. Now it's not at all advantageous. The rupee is worth next to is what, 56 rupees for the dollar, something of that sort. But the rupee isn't worth anything in India. It's not worth what it was before, which is a dollar. Okay, where are we? Ramachandra, are you there?
We're at 54. 54. Opening so many factories, will they fill the people's bellies? Out of hunger, the people will be forced to eat grass and mango pits. Narayan Prabhu, you're muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Narayan Prabhu.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, just did. Who read that? Did you read that?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I thought maybe Mahaprabhu read it, which would have been an interesting experience. And you had an interesting experience too, of course. So opening so many factories, will they fill people's bellies? Out of hunger, the people will be forced to eat grass and mango pits. Yeah, that's like in America in the Industrial Revolution. Workers were drawn off of the farms to make money, cash in the cities, and they were kept almost like slaves. Children were working, 12, 16-hour days, 6 days a week at the age of 10. And with unsafe machines, if a machine injured them and chopped off its arm, the child was thrown into the street because he could no longer work. That's when labor unions were created.
Right.
To counteract that. So Prabhupada's response is, will they fill people's bellies? Well, they don't, because the people working there don't make enough to fill their belly. And out of hunger, people are forced to eat grass and mango pits, which apparently is happening in Mauritius. Oh, so I heard. 55. A 2-paisa thread tied around his neck, and the man says he's a Brahmin, just wearing a saffron cloth, and a man calls himself a sannyasi. Well, shall we put, the cheating is going on.
Yes.
Do you want to read the next one?
Yes, 56. The householders beg from the sannyasis, and the sannyasis have crores of rupees in the bank.
Crores is a lot of money. A lakh of rupees is 100,000, and I think a crore is 100 lakhs, so it's like millions of dollars.
Right.
And how do the sannyasis get that money? They get it by charming women into giving their inheritance to them and stuff like that, and doing deals here and there. Or you could also ask the ISKCON sannyasis how they make their money, which is very considerable. So then 56. Does Mahaprabhu want to read 56?
Mahaprabhu. I think Mahaprabhu is just listening, or is he here? I don't think so.
He was.
Well, Mahaprabhu is here, yes. I think he might be busy. So you read Narayan Prabhu. Anyone wants to read here?
Who else is online here?
Suryansh Prabhu is here.
Could he read the verse?
Yes, can you read number 57? Mahaprabhu Das?
How about one of the other people online?
Yeah, Suryansh Prabhu, can you read number 57?
57 coming up.
Is he reading?
What is the duration of this session? Oh, someone asked a question on Facebook. What is the duration of this session, Prabhu? So we're covering the Vaisisthas. This is, I think, 75 verses, or what would you call it? Sentences. So we're on number 57. So we're nearly done.
And what we're doing is we're going through it, and I'm trying to give a understanding of it as we go through it now the first time, and then we'll go through it again with everybody participating, but that will take a while. It takes maybe a week to go through it if we do nothing else.
Right.
So that hopefully answers the question.
Yes. Jersey Devil is his name. He's from Bharata. You want to introduce yourself on Zoom? Jersey Devil.
Wait, isn't Jersey Devil something else? A hacker?
It might be.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, well, why don't you read the verse? We're just wasting time.
Yes, 57. Every day the influence of Kali Yuga increases, and the poor souls being oppressed by the age of Kali cry in agony.
Well, this is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, every day the influence of Kali Yuga increases. Yes, time is going. The influence of Kali Yuga is...
Prabhupada is apparently reminding his godbrothers that we're in a dire situation surrounded by hazards, and that the duty of the disciple is to solve these problems, not simply to profit from them or to simply reject them or renounce them, but to actually solve the problem itself with pure unalloyed love of God. Okay, next verse.
58. Every day, 10,000 cows are slaughtered, and the expert leaders eat untouchable foodstuffs. Huh?
Could you move the screen up a touch? Yeah,
58.
Yeah, 10,000 cows. Not very many back then, was it?
Yeah.
But and expert leaders eat untouchable. So the issue is that in the Vedic culture, the leader had to also be the leader in morality, as well as the leader of military and power and governance. So what they're saying is, Prabhupada's saying is, the leaders are unqualified because by eating untouchable foodstuffs, they cannot judge or they cannot govern spiritually or nicely. Okay, next.
Okay, we read 58.
Right.
Now we're reading 59. Man of mud-like intelligence increase day by day, and a husband and a wife can dissolve their relationship simply by a word. Interesting.
Well, that raises Mahaprabhu's issue there again. Just with a word you can dissolve. Don't worry about the law, just with a word.
Right, right.
So mud-like intelligence, it's interesting. Mud-like is like mudha, but a mudha is a donkey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he said mud-like intelligence. I have a suspicion this isn't the exact original Falgun Krishna Panchami.
You don't think so?
No, there's certain things in it that doesn't sound quite the way I remember it.
Huh. Well, we'll have to do some more research, then I'll have to see the original.
Yeah, I have the original somewhere. I'll have to
Okay.
unearth it. Okay, 60. Go ahead with 60.
Okay. Everyone has become a witch by the influence of the age. Everyone is unhappy due to the absence of the devotee's mercy.
Yes, so that word devotees is plural. So he's asked his godbrothers to not profit from being a devotee, but use that money immediately for serving Krishna. And then I suppose that would be the antidote to this number 60, that if everyone has become a witch by the influence of the age, everyone is unhappy due to the absence of the devotee's mercy. Well, the devotee's mercy isn't there because the devotee is accumulating money and spending it for himself or hoarding it for a rainy day instead of delivering the people, meaning everyone, the citizens. Okay, how about the seventh Vaisistya?
Okay, the seventh Vaisistya. Okay. 61. The Vaishnavas are famous for being sympathetic towards others' suffering, and that fame will be increased by mature preaching.
Why don't you comment?
Well, the Vaishnavas are famous for being sympathetic towards others. Who's this? Someone wants to join. Let me admit them. Kostuva Singha. Okay. The Vaishnavas are famous for being sympathetic towards others' suffering, and that fame will be increased by mature preaching. So that's a very good point, because the Vaishnavas are like Srila Prabhupada. He came at such an advanced age to America on the mission to spread this Krishna consciousness movement in every town and village. And if you really look at it, a 70-year-old man, he has other things in mind. No, I mean, I'm talking about a non-Vaishnava. He has his family on mind, his retirement. And Srila Prabhupada was totally opposite. He came here and changed the whole world. He made the so-called hippies into happies, and they gave up all of their bad habits and joined the movement and spread this Krishna consciousness movement far and wide. So in that way, Srila Prabhupada was very happy to see his disciples preaching and maturing. It could have went much better, but they disobeyed many of the instructions that Srila Prabhupada gave, and it is what it is now, and it's for us to rectify it.
It is not a perfect movement, but it is a successful Kanista Adhikari movement.
Yes.
The success is that it exists. If there were no deities, if there were no temples, if there were no four regular principles, then it would be a failure. And what Prabhupada is talking to his godbrothers is essentially the failure of the Gaudiya Math. And he has not experienced that failure, even with so many things that we don't like or could call failures. The essence of what Prabhupada set out to do is still there, hale and hearty, with anarthas here and there all over it.
Right. So we have a devotee named Kostuva Singha. Prabhu, where are you from? And we're discussing the Vaisistas, Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja offering to his spiritual master in 1961. So if you'd like to comment or you'd like to introduce yourself, you can let me know and I'll unmute you and you can introduce yourself. So, and if you also want to comment, you're welcome to comment either on YouTube or here on the Zoom call.
Say, by the way, Ramachandra, is my face visible right now or not?
Your face is not visible because I am talking right now.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, can you get him to speak? Will he speak?
Let's see. Let me. Prabhu, can you message me if you want to speak? Let me unmute you. Prabhu, we already met. I say, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, we already met previously in a previous call. Okay. All right. So then we continue. If you want to speak, just send me a message and I'll unmute you. So Narayan Prabhu, you want to comment on 61? Or should we move on to 62? Narayan Prabhu, you have to unmute yourself. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, what's going on here? 1 second. Please unmute yourself now. There you go.
Okay. So, yes. So here we go back again to the godbrothers of Prabhupada accumulating money and lending money, having crores of lakhs and crores of rupees to lend to the householders who need a loan. And he says the Vaishnavas are famous for being sympathetic towards others' suffering. And that fame will be increased by mature preaching. So Prabhupada is indicating that the money that they receive is meant to be used to exponentially deliver the fallen souls, to help the suffering humanity. Supposing I get $1 or 1 rupee, well, I have to do the work of 10 rupees in exchange for receiving that rupee. In other words, try to capitalize. I've got a rupee, let me speak. A rupee comes from 1 person donation. Let me give 10 rupee worth of advice or counsel from that 1 rupee by speaking right here with 10 people that had never heard of Krishna before or who had forgotten Krishna. So that is the process. And Prabhupada is mentioning that you have to be sympathetic towards others' suffering, meaning that that's what your money is for, to deliver people from repeated birth and death, which is the cause of suffering, is it not? So if people are suffering, it's because of repeated birth and death, because of Maya, because of the embodied mentality. And it doesn't matter which country you're in. If you are a bodily, think your body, it doesn't matter if you're from India or America, Germany, England, South America, New Zealand, it doesn't matter where you're from. If you, it doesn't matter where you're from, if you are bodily conscious. Whoever's bodily conscious is missing the point, regardless of his body. You can say, but don't people in India more inclined to spiritual life? And the answer is yes, because they've had spiritual life in the culture for millennia. However, if a man is in body consciousness, being in a religious place like India is or was, is not a solution, because his body, Indian body, is no more enlightened than anybody else's body. It's when that he begins to understand his own nature as spirit soul that his being in India body counts. Okay, where are we now? Where do we want to go? Can you read next one?
I will read. Let's see where we were. Yes,
So
we read 62.
Bhanu has not come on board yet. No?
Bhanu, let's see if Bhanu's here. No, Bhanu's not here yet.
Okay. Well, keep going, reading.
Okay. If eternally pure devotional service to Krishna is awakened in everyone, Kali will flee on his own accord, crying, hey, ha, ha. Oh, what does it say? Ha, ha, yes. If eternally pure devotional service to Krishna is awakened in everyone, Kali will flee of his own accord. Ha, ha.
I don't know if it's ha, ha, but more like,
Hey.
ah, ah. You know, like torture, like misery.
Right.
He will flee of his own kind, find, ah, ah, you know, like that.
Mm-hmm.
You think?
Yeah, that's it. I was using the American ha ha.
Yeah. Not a joke for Kali.
Yeah.
So next verse?
Yes. 63. Mahaprabhu's message is Para Imam. What does it say?
Ukapakaraya.
Act for the welfare of others. This is the storehouse of happiness, both now and after death. Parinam upakaraya. Huh? Upakaraya means something.
Parinam upakaraya. Upakaraya. To act for the welfare of others.
Yes.
So again, he's talking about why are my godbrothers hoarding money and lending it to householders from their wealth when they could be using it for this purpose? Act for the welfare of others, not just one's own pocketbook. Does that make sense?
Yeah, apparently there's some GBC policy that all the ISKCON sannyasis should, money collected on ISKCON property, they should have an account where the GBC can audit, but they never follow those so-called resolutions. You know, they have no transparency because
but
all
why
this.
should they have an account?
Yeah,
A sannyasi is renounced.
Well, they do have accounts.
You shouldn't have
right?
accounts.
Yeah. So I think only a handful of Maharajas actually report the expenses. The vast majority of the so-called initiators, they don't show the accounts, or they don't show how much money was received by the ISKCON congregation in public. They have no transparency, basically.
That is because they are Kanistadakaris and cannot see beyond their own bodies. Even though they are initiators, calling themselves gurus, they're still bodily conscious.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Okay.
keep going.
63. Mahaprabhu's message. No, we read that. 64. So, how much work has fallen into your hands? Everyone should join together and do something about it. Uh-huh.
He's harping on the same thing, which is that he's saying the same thing, that instead of accumulating money and lending it and being greedy and capitalizing off of our guru's name and fame and Krishna's name and fame, instead of embezzling money belonging to Krishna, you should join together and do something about it.
Right, right.
There's so much work in the hands of the devotees, and yet they're not doing the work. They're avoiding doing the work because it would cost money to do it. And so they want to keep the money. But if they recognize that money belongs to Krishna, they will not hesitate to spend it to produce the enlightenment of others in the Kali Yuga.
Yeah, it's something I suggested to the local devotees here for an ISKCON temple. I said, let's get together, a couple of $100,000, everyone gives $20,000-$30,000 from the savings. And then immediately we can have a wonderful temple center, whatever you guys want. We can collect at least, $500,000 just like that. But the so-called people, they fought amongst themselves and then they ruined the whole thing. And then I figured out nothing is possible with these people working with them because, the whole thing is what can I say? It's a sham. Because they are the disciples of the initiated gurus. They should set a very high standard of austerity, charity, behavior, which is totally lacking in their personal lives. Otherwise, this congregation is more than 25 years old. So there's more than enough money here in Sacramento. It's the capital city. Why haven't they been able to coordinate amongst the initiated ISKCON initiators and done something nice? It's unfathomable to me because I see it as a very simple solution.
Because they see the money, if not theirs, at least under their control.
Huh? What are you saying?
They either see the money is their personal money belonging to them, or they see that it is or ought to be under their own personal control, which is the same as it being, it's like making a lot of money, making a tax exempt organization, and then spending the money from that organization as though it's your own money.
Huh. Yeah.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, yeah.
Because I'm still invisible, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the so much work has fallen into your hands. Well, that again is why is the work in your hands? Because people donated money. Money is the honey. Prabhupada says money is the honey. The Shakti of money is coming to your hands, but you're not, and that means work to be done has fallen into your hands. Prabhupada says, everyone should join together and do something about it, meaning instead of just sitting on the wealth, they need to create programs that actually work.
Right. I just saw some videos from the local people here, and I know they're just trying to collect more followers, and the followers have no idea what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah, because more followers means more power and more money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just what can I say? It's like a firing range, like you said.
What's great? Because Auntie house later time. Auntie house.
Okay.
Let's go, Papa.
Let's see, where are we? 65.
65.
Yeah. Vasudev Vipra paid his obeisances to the Lord and said, "Please deliver all living beings."
Dad, you're getting like an Auntie house.
Halani karo. Halani. Meeting chale okay.
Hari
Okay.
Bol. And so
Hari Bol,
read,
Prabhupada.
read the next one also.
Yes.
Give all their
Hari
sins
Bol.
to me, who am most fallen, and relinquish all the suffering of the unhappy souls.
Bye.
So he wanted to become like Jesus and accept all the sins of all the people so that they could become perfected, and he would just accept all the sins that they had accumulated since time immemorial.
Okay, number 67. He was the best Vaishnava, para dukha dukhi. He found no happiness in gratifying his senses. Wow, that is Vasudev.
Papa, you getting late at Auntie house.
Also did what we thought.
Because the late outside.
Meeting.
Jai. He was the best Vaishnava, para dukha dukhi. Prabhupada used to say that a lot. He found no happiness in gratifying his senses. Why? You see, when you're on the spiritual platform, when you're saying to Krishna, make me dance like a puppet, you don't find happiness in gratifying your senses, because Krishna will give you what you need when you need it. If you sneeze, you need a tissue, the tissue will be there. Everything you need occurs as you need it when Krishna's in charge, because he knows what everything is, and he knows how to get everything that you need where it is. But when I say everything you need, I don't mean everything you need, everything you want. No. What you want is imagination, sandcastle. A bunch of kids go into a sandbox full of damn sand, and they can build roads, they can build castles, they can build whatever they like. But there's no meaning to it because it's just sand and it will fall apart again. He found no happiness in gratifying his senses.
Jai.
Because the soul enjoyment does not involve gratifying the senses. The senses are alarms, mental alarms, to tell you to eat something or do something. But when you're surrendered to Krishna, everything you need comes to you. It doesn't have to be artificially taken or arranged for. We think that we get an education in college so that we can take more than we could if we didn't have an education in college. And that's not the point of it.
So, number 6.
He found no happiness in gratifying his senses. Okay, go ahead.
We are at, let's see, 68. What kind of compassion can the non-devotee show? He simply commits offenses with his Daridra Narayan philosophy. Daridra Narayan philosophy. Degraded Lord Vishnu philosophy. How can Lord Vishnu be degraded? They only commit offenses with this Daridra Narayan philosophy. Narayana philosophy. So what is this philosophy? The Dalida Narayan philosophy. It's a
So go
contradiction.
ahead.
And non-devotee, I guess he's referring to these people who are envious of the devotees of Lord Narayan, the Vaishnavas. Narayan Prabhu, you please comment.
I'm trying to remember the meaning of Daridra Narayan. And I think it means that everyone considers himself to be Vishnu.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Daridra Narayan philosophy means he by considering that he and everyone is Vishnu, he commits offenses all over the place because Vishnu is never the recipient. Vishnu is actually taking, not giving, because if everyone is Vishnu and everybody has their hand out, they all want a rupee in it. So number 69, the Vaishnava's mercy is scientific. Without the mercy of the Vaishnava, the world is simply insurmountable Maya. When he says scientific, the Vaishnava's mercy is scientific, he means that it is like a scalpel that cuts accurately and finely and precisely. He's thinking of his spiritual master here. Without the mercy of the Vaishnava, the world is simply insurmountable Maya. So again, it's like the beginning of the Falgun Krishna Panchami, where Prabhupada is writing about his guru, that he gives direction. The Vaishnava's mercy is scientific. That means it can be dealt with utilizing intelligence. And insurmountable Maya simply means everyone impulsively doing whatever they please, whenever they please, like an orgy or something like that. There's no constraint. Everyone is just doing their. I think the hippie said, "Do your own thing." Well, everybody's doing their own thing.
Do your own thing.
Yeah, that's so insurmountable Maya. Okay, do you think we've done enough?
I think so, Narayan Prabhu. We should continue tomorrow.
Let's continue tomorrow.
I'm feeding my daughter too. That's why I moved away from the screen. She wants something to eat.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful.
I'm back now.
And you know what that will accomplish? She'll become bigger and stronger and a more healthier adult.
Jai, she's having some yogurt right
Hare
now.
Krishna. Please.
Jai Prabhu. Thank you everyone for joining.
Jai, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Narayan Prabhu, you want to say something?
No, I just want to, I'm leaving. Okay.
Okay.
Haribol.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Haribol.